Evening, everyone. This is your closing comment for tonight, Tuesday, the 20th, and it is video number 721. So don't forget that if you like the work, please hit the subscribe button and the notification so you won't miss any of our coming videos. Okay, so the market was very soft today. Finished down about 0.75%. It's just nothing overwhelming. Dow down 256.33, 0.75%. Nasdaq down 128.49, which was 0.9%. And the S&P was only down 28.32, or 0.7%. The big loser, however, was the Russell, down 43.79, or 1.96%, almost 2%. And the transports were up 96, which is 0.65%. And that was pretty much on the KSU news, the acquisition or the new hire bid price for Kansas City Southern. Okay, after the close, well, let's go back to before the open. So from last night, we had the IBM, which beat both top and bottom. And last night, it was only about 135. This morning, it was 136.30, up 318, but it managed to climb even further than that and closed the day at 138.16, up 504, 3.8%. Johnson & Johnson also reported a beat, and it too was really not overwhelmingly changed. It was actually trading at 162, down 69 cents today. And at the close, it managed to close 166.48, up 379, or 2.3%. You know, when you have a down day like today, and actually a combination of two down days in a row, sometimes these earnings, which are just okay and in line, definitely get taken advantage of. The IBM was a good number. Johnson & Johnson was okay. UAL, on the other hand, missed and had a loss, and this morning it was 53.03, down 196, and it managed to continue to lose and closed at 50.30, down 469, or 8.5%. On top of that, the CEO came out and was discussing the fact that their Boeing planes were not really going to be a problem. But if you recall, and I mentioned it either this morning or last night, first the Boeing planes were going to be fixed in, a couple of hours to a day. Then it became up to a few days. And now UAL is saying that their fleet ought to be okay by the end of the month. So that's another 10 days from now. And when that news came out 5 days ago, the stock was trading 258. It traded 232 today and finished 233.40, down 10.75, or 4.4%. So, the perception here is that Boeing has a quality control issue. It's manifest in, not always planes falling out of the sky, but problems that make those planes unavailable. And, a company like UAL, you can be sure, are going to ask for concessions on anything else that they buy and take delivery of. TRV was a beat. Travelers closed 155.73, up $1.35, just under 1%. Procter & Gamble was a beat. Closed 137.75, up $1.14, also under 1%. And Microsoft was down 48 cents, which was not bad on a day like today. And it also put out news that it was calling off talks to buy Discord. And a couple of months ago, it called off talks to buy TikTok. So it's questionable whether or not they're really interested in doing a deal. Apple came out with some new iPad, Mac Pro, etc. The stock was 133.11, and that was down $1.73. But the big number this afternoon was Netflix. It was a beat top and bottom line, but only in a minor way. And there was some negative news and negative guidance. So the stock, which had a high of 563 this morning, managed to close the day 549.57, down 487, which was not bad considering the market. But after the news and net paid ads being a fraction of what was expected, I think the number was 6 million, and they came in at 2 million. And the guidance for next quarter for subscriber growth, which was expected to be 2 to 3, they project at 1, sent the stock initially down to 480 from 549. And the last is 504.70, down $49. So that's pretty close to 10%. Okay, futures really didn't do a whole lot today. The oil was down, the gold was up a little, Bitcoin, not really doing too much of anything, and the dollar bounced up. But I want to show you the chart that I pointed out this morning on the lumber. And if you recall, we pointed out that when you have this kind of a meteoric rise from under 1,000 to over almost 1,400, the high here was 1,374 this morning. When you have this kind of a rally off this kind of open interest, you can pretty much figure that that open interest decline is short covering. As something moves up, you have to understand that futures are a zero-sum game. So for every buyer, there's a seller. For every seller, there's a buyer. And so there is a relative amount of volume, but there's also a relative amount of open interest. If you see this move here from 500 all the way up to this breakout again at 1,000. That's 100% rise, and as you can see, there are more and more people buying. So the number of contracts increase as the price increases. You can pretty much figure that that is new buying and the generation of more open interest, just like there would be in options, where the higher the open interest is, the more people are involved in it. In any event, when open interest goes down, it means there are less contracts as prices are rising. That means that this is short covering. And as far as a technical tactic, the easiest way to play this after you've had a series of limit up days is to find the day where it goes from limit up to down on the day, which is what happened this morning. And then you can figure that you're going to have a downturn. So you might not get all of this because, frankly, you'd have to be pretty heavily risk involved to sell something that is literally limit up, at which point there are buyers and no sellers. But going down through unchanged, what we got today was limit up to limit down. We closed down 48 after being up 48. So you can figure that at the end of the day here, when this was limit down, just like there were no sellers on the way up, there are no buyers on the way down. So I'm going to guess that we're going to come back into this 1100 to 1150 area pretty quickly. Could be just a matter of days, because the daily range here was, most of these the limit was 23. Then after a couple of limit up days, they expanded it to 32. Then after 32, several days to the upside, they expanded by 50% to 48. So we could literally open down $48 tomorrow at 12:30 and just stop there. Just not even trade, because there would be no buyers. All right. Well, again, I want to remind everyone that we have a great trader who happened to have made $8,700 a contract in this trade today. And on the upside, in the last couple of days, he has traded also against the trend and made, I think I mentioned, 3,300. So Dennis is really on top of this market and on top of his game here. He's been short the stock indexes at the same time. So if you have an interest, please let me know. And I want to remind everybody that tomorrow, I believe around noon, we're going to have a Zoom call, and it will be one where everybody will be invited. I will put it on our Discord channel in the morning, the invitation. All you'll have to do is click on it, and we'll discuss any stocks that you're interested in. I'll have charts available, and we'll go over anything that you want for as long as you want. So, all right, everyone, have a good evening, and I'll be back in the morning.